What's going on, guys? Dando here. Just want to give you guys a quick heads up. So during this episode, you're going to hear Guy and myself discuss the Disney giveaway that we had going last week. So that contest is actually over, but because patrons get the show a week early, we actually had to record the episode you're about to hear last week. I know it sounds confusing, but trust me, it makes sense. So basically what we did last week was we uploaded the Disney clip, the competition clip for you guys on the free feed, just so everyone would have the chance to enter and go on the Facebook page and hopefully win the animation sale. But that competition is now over. So when you hear us discuss it in this episode, just ignore it and skip through. The competition's actually over, but there was no way of me editing out all the mentions of the competition and make it still sound natural. So I've just left it in, but I thought I'd give you guys the heads up so you don't think that there's a new competition. It's just the same one that's already over. But anyway, thank you guys. Hope you enjoy our review of It's a Mad Marge. And I'll catch you guys next week for the season finale. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Love you all. Cheers.
You just enjoy your grocery shopping, Marge. And if you pick up some semolina, I can make couscous for Lisa.
Oh, it's my favorite.
It is?
Oh, yeah. You can learn a lot from your kids if you just listen to them.
Be right back.
Take your time.
Why do I always think of the perfect thing to say when it's too late? Shut up, Becky. That would have been sweet. The brakes cut light. It's red.
Wow, tough glass.
Four-finger discount, dude.
Welcome to Four Figure Discount. This week we are here to review episode BABF18. It's a Mad Marge. I'm Dando.
I am Guy. Dando, how are you, my man? You doing okay?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm in a good mood because for some reason I've always had a soft spot for this episode. I think it's mostly nostalgia reasons because it was one of the ones that I had like 2 or 3 tapes. You know, when you used to tape things off TV. I had 2 or 3 Simpsons tapes that were like my favourite tapes. I remember this was at the start of one of them. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's one of my favourite episodes. It was just on one of the tapes. And I just always had that sort of... It reminds me of sitting at home at my old place back in Donnelly Avenue in Norlane growing up when I was like 11 or 12 and just watching this episode on repeat. And yeah, I've always found it as a bit silly, but a fun episode.
I'm afraid this is where our paths differ. Our paths diverge, Dando. I was kind of underwhelmed by this episode. I'm sure I must have seen it back in the day, but I could not remember a darn thing about it. And then started to watch this. I watched it today, so I'd be fresh going in. And yeah, all the way through, it's kind of like, well, this is a whole lot of nothing. I mean, it just didn't really do it for me. And I was surprised because, at the start, it's got written by Larry Doyle, and I sang the praises of Larry Doyle for writing an episode a few episodes back. I forgot which one it was, but
Might have been Pygmalion, was it?
Because
Larry was Duffman.
That's right. Yeah. So you wrote Pygmalion, which I really enjoyed, and this one, I don't know. I mean, it's got a classic sort of, sitcom setup of just seeing the worst possible outcome in every situation and making mistakes while you're doing it, and that's what Marge does when Becky moves in. But for some reason...
That was one of my notes. I was sort of watching it thinking, this feels like it's an episode that could have almost been filmed live action.
I think, reading some research about this, I mean, I don't know if it was Larry Doyle who said it, but he said, sort of coming up with wacky misunderstandings, gave us a lot more sort of sympathy or a lot more respect for what the guys at Three's Company did. One of those old... American sitcoms where it's like, I think the whole premise of that was basically a wacky misunderstanding where some guy was living with 2 girls and, everyone thought, oh, he's this wild playboy or whatever, and he turned out not to be. I don't know. I can't really remember. But, this episode just really didn't do it for me. It wasn't offensively bad or even, I guess it was more kind of, but... It was more on the bad side of I guess than the good side of I guess, if you know what I mean. I mean,
I think it's because I've also always had a crush on Becky.
well, true, Becky does seem nice, but with that in mind, I mean, I sort of went in fairly blind to this one. But, well, also because I couldn't really remember all that much, but I thought, okay, I don't want to know anything about it going in. I'm just going to watch it and judge it on its own merits, such as they are. And there weren't many merits. But I was like, who's doing this voice of Becky? I'm not sure I'm into this, whoever's doing it. And I honestly thought it might be some, I don't want to disrespect any pop stars or anything like that, but I thought it might be a pop star and acting was not their first thing.
You didn't think Parker Posey was any good?
And look, at the end, it's Parker Posey, who I think is, really terrific. I think is, an incredibly inventive comic actor. I mean, if any of you out there haven't seen Dazed and Confused, go see Dazed and Confused, and then you'll be both absolutely love-struck and terrified of Parker Posey. She's really terrific in that movie. But, I don't know, she didn't really, sort of nail it, as far as I'm concerned with Becky.
I don't know, there was a few moments where I thought she was great. I can understand why you see this as kind of bland, because it does feel like there's a whole lot happening, but also at the same time a whole lot of nothing happening. So it doesn't. But also might be because it's coming off the back of episodes like Kill the Alligator and Run and things like that, where we're just maybe you're expecting wackiness now and you just didn't get it this episode.
Yeah. I mean, one other thing that I sort of found in my brief research was the fact that it didn't really have a B story. It's just all A story all the time. It doesn't really seem...
Which is what I liked about it, because it didn't... Because I feel like recently they've tried to throw in B stories, and by doing so, it's taken away, and it's almost felt like the episodes have been two stories that could have been better if they were full-length stories, but because they tried to fit them into the same one. Like, remember when they went to the... in the future, and Homer was digging for gold.
Yeah.
And whilst there wasn't much to that side story, there was barely any scenes with him fun. It was just you started looking for it and all of a sudden he found it. So there was no substance to it. But I feel like if they tried to shoehorn a B story into this one, it would have made the main story even more weak, because there wasn't a whole lot happening anyway. I'm glad they didn't take a B story in there or put a B story in there to detract from the A story.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, often when you've got a situation like that, you don't have an A story and a B story. You've got sort of two A- stories. Or and like you said, I mean, neither one ends up satisfying all that much. Look, I didn't despise this episode by any stretch, but I mean, it just felt very flimsy, very featherweight, kind of inconsequential to me.
Well, it also sort of felt when I was watching it that Marge seemed a little bit out of character. I mean, I can understand the jealousy and whatnot, but to the point where she was willing to legitimately kill Becky, I thought that's probably a step too far for Marge. Marge would never want to kill somebody. She would be upset and she'd be sad, but she wouldn't walk in and brandish a fucking glass ice cream cone and threaten to murder somebody in public. I saw that and I went, oh, no. I was entertained by the story, but moments like that, I kind of went, yeah, you're kind of pushing it for the sake of the story now.
It felt a little disrespectful to Marge for some reason. This
whole
whole episode felt disrespectful to Marge. And I mean, I don't want to be that kind of person who's like, you be faithful to the characters, man, or be better to them or whatever. I mean, I think your characters can be tools, and I think you should use them, to the best of your ability. I don't know. I don't like the way they treated her in this episode for some reason.
Nah. Marge is on the run. She's been considered crazy. There's all these news stories about her. Everyone's looking for her, blah, blah, blah. But the family don't seem to care. They're just filming a movie for Bart.
Yeah.
Marge gets back and Bart's like, yeah, Mum, it's great to have you home, but you're getting in my shot. I was like... I don't know.
No, logic sort of got thrown out the window. But admittedly, I think this episode was kind of a tribute to a lot of 90s movies, the so-and-so from hell movies, like The Roommate from Hell or The Babysitter from Hell, like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle or Single White Female or something along those lines, where someone new enters someone's life. Clearly they've got evil intentions or whatever, but they're so nice and so seemingly rational that the sane person appears insane for saying, no, this person's trying to kill me or take over my life or whatever. So I guess they were trying to riff on that a bit, and I can see that would be fun. That would be sort of fertile comic territory, but they didn't really do that much with it. I mean, they didn't either they weren't faithful enough to that kind of story, or they didn't, to quote Barney, take it to strange new places. So
Do you think you would have? Do you think you would have preferred it if at say midpoint during the episode, it's revealed that Becky is trying to steal the family from Marge? Like Marge discovers something and Becky's like, you better keep your mouth shut or something like that. But no one else believes Marge because she's just so nice to everybody else. Do you think you would have preferred it if they took that avenue? Or was that too cliche?
Look, it's a bit cliched, but I don't mind cliches every once in a while. And I think that probably would have worked better, for me at least, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. I see, I like the episode as it was, but as you were sort of explaining there, I just sort of thought of that, and I thought the ways they could have gone with it, I think that would have been easier to digest for many viewers. Probably it's a common story. I think it just would have worked well. It would have felt cliche and simple, but as you said, cliches sometimes work. One thing I was disappointed to hear though was that Becky was originally written for Drew Barrymore. And we all know here at Four Finger Discount my love for Drew Barrymore. I just think that if you, I'm trying to apply maybe Drew Barrymore's character from The Wedding Singer into the character of Becky.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like if Drew Barrymore played that, it probably would have made the character even better. Yeah. Like you said, Parker Posey, you didn't really think she did a great job. I think Drew Barrymore, mainly because they wrote the character for her, probably would have been perfect for the role. Yeah.
Well, Drew Barrymore was actually in one of those From Hell movies back in the early 90s. It was called Poison Ivy. And she was like this wild child. I think this was in sort of her early 20s. Drew's all grown up, not on heroin anymore, and back acting. And, hey, that's Drew Barrymore, and she's got a tattoo. And she the
old tramp stamp.
Well, I don't think it was a tramp stamp.
Well, she's got one.
I'm sure she does. But, she becomes friends with rich girl Sarah Gilbert from Roseanne. And then it turns out, oh no, she's got designs on the whole family, and she says about seducing the dad and all that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty trashy, Poison Ivy, and there was 3 direct-to-video sequels and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Drew Barrymore was in one of those movies. So it all comes full circle. One other thing, though, may I just mention quickly, because I think I might make your day with this news. Did you know that Drew Barrymore's got her own talk show coming up?
Talk show?
Yeah. I think, given that nobody likes Ellen DeGeneres anymore, I don't know, have you heard this in the news? But
the problem is that she's being replaced by James Corden. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's kind of like, you went from bad to worse.
More power to James Corden. The guy has created an incredible career for himself. But for fuck's sake, can we please just have a late night talk host who can just interview people? Jimmy Kimmel is about as close to it as we're going to get. Because you got Jimmy Fallon doing fucking miming songs, and James Corden's doing singing songs with celebrities in cars. It's all just a fucking gimmick now.
Well, that's the thing.
What happened to the days of Carson and Letterman, who could just sit there and talk to people, and that was engaging enough?
Well, they don't really sort of watch that anymore. I mean, the audience for those shows, they don't even really watch those shows anymore. Now they're sort of made to be...
They're made for YouTube clips.
They're made for YouTube clips, essentially. Yeah, exactly. So...
it upsets me. Old man Dando's not happy about it.
Welcome to my world, mate. You're going to get disgruntled by just about everything from now on. Woo!
I'm looking forward to yelling at clouds.
Don't forget to wear an onion on your belt. But I think Drew's show is actually going to be like a daytime talk show. And there's a clip, I'll see if I can find it for you, and they've done a really remarkable job of editing or photoshopping Little Drew from E.T. era, obviously on some talk show, maybe with Carson or Letterman or whatever. But current Drew is interviewing her, and they've
That's cool.
Yeah, and it is honestly the most adorable thing you'll ever see in your life. Well, I know that you're already partial to Biz Barrymore, but you'll really enjoy it. But I was watching, going, I might actually tune in for that, and I'm not as big a Drew Barrymore fan as you are, Dando. So it shows that it's clearly, kind of something.
Well, that's something to look forward to after we finish editing tonight. Let's hurry up and finish this.
Let's wrap this up.
Actually, before we get into the review, this episode here. Now, I mentioned at the end of last week that something happens in this episode that's probably going to make you really dislike a character, and you haven't mentioned it yet. I thought, maybe it didn't bother him as much. But do you walk out of this episode really despising the character of Otto?
Yeah, it wasn't cool.
He had a great girl who loved him for who he was. She was willing to change for him. And then he just fucked her over on her wedding day in front of everybody and chose music over her.
Indeed. And what, poison or cyanide or whatever?
Cyanide. But that also felt a little bit shoehorned. It's like, how can we get Becky into the episode? It's like, Otto's got a girlfriend. It's like, okay, no worries. It's thrown away very quickly, but man, that's something that's you can't come back from. That's a horrible, horrible thing.
It is certainly a horrible thing, but I don't think anyone came out of this episode looking all that good. I mean, you get plenty of arsehole Homer in this episode. Well, maybe not plenty, but it's certainly a few instances, and I'm just like, yeah, this is wearing thin. I mean, admittedly, it's been sort of a recurring theme in episodes we've done in season 11, but yeah, there are a few instances in this episode where it's like, yeah, dude, you're no longer sort of a, bumbling oaf. You're just kind of a dick.
Yeah.
but even worse, I mean, I don't know why this rubbed me the wrong way, up the wrong way so much. But, when Homer's changing the oil and actually singing, what was he singing? It was,
Bart tried to kill him?
Yeah, and Bart was kicking the car. It's like, oh, and a 2-ton car falling on a man. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I've got that in my notes. I was like, so Bart's willing to murder his father now? Like, that's not just pulling a prank. He's actually trying to kill Homer.
Yeah. Now, I know it's The Simpsons. I know it's a cartoon. I know it's all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, this was just, what the fuck, man?
I wrote my notes when we get to it, literally say, how does this get past the writer's room? How does not one person in that writer's room go, do we really want to have Bart try to murder Homer?
Yeah. But
anyway, we'll get
there's another
that,
bit in this. There's another bit in the episode that I think the censors or whoever took him to task, where it was, I think Chief Wiggum's given Ralph his gun or something and said, no, higher, that's the kill shot. I'm like, Look, I don't mind bad taste at all, as long as it's in the service of a good joke. But this wasn't a good joke, so it was just bad taste.
It's just a father teaching his son how to kill people, yeah.
Pretty much.
Now, before we get into our favourite moments and the trivia and the new names, we mentioned last week that we've got a big announcement. We have teamed up with our good friends at Disney to promote the fact that Simpsons Season 30 is now streaming on Disney+. No ads, all in its original ratio. Simpsons Seasons 1 through 30 now available on Disney+. So what we're doing, we've teamed up, we've got a giveaway. So on the Facebook page, you'll see it's our pinned post. And we have been given by Disney an original animation cell from The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 9. It's when Dr. Nick and Homer are in the doctor's room with the hair transplant on the side there. And not only are you going to get this original animation cell, which is something that I would love to get my hands on.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we can't enter the contest, Mr. Davis.
Oh, wait, what? Oh.
I know, right? On top of that, we're also going to be giving away a 12-month subscription for Disney+. So the way you enter that is go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/fourfingerdiscount, and it is the pinned post at the top of the page, and all you have to do there is like the page and comment on that post your favorite episode and why. Entries close this Thursday at 11:59 p.m, and on Friday we will choose a winner randomly out of all people who commented, and that person will be sent a animation cell from season 9, from Treehouse of Horror 9, as well as a 12-month subscription to Disney Plus, courtesy of our incredible new friends at Disney. How great is that, Mr. Davis?
That is great indeed. And look, I'm not going to predict that the winner's name is actually Di Gavis, but it could happen. No, it absolutely not will happen.
This is your chance to be a guy incognito.
No, to quote the 70s funk band Hot Chocolate, everyone's a winner, baby. That's no lie, except it is a lie. There's only one winner. But that person is going to be the luckiest little boy or girl in the world because, oh my God, animation cell and 12 months of Disney Plus. And, this is a Simpsons themed show, of course. So, you've got Simpsons up the wazoo all the way up to season 30, but so much other Disney/Star Wars/Marvel stuff as well.
It's impossible not to find something you want to watch.
Oh my God, it's chock full of stuff. I left it running the other day and just caught I think they did Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame back to back. I was like, oh, fantastic. Yeah, so we're very fortunate that we've hooked up with the fine folks at Disney, but I think someone out there is going to be just even more lucky than we are.
Yeah, I never thought when we started this podcast a few years ago that I'd be able to say teaming up with our good friends at Disney.
Props to you, Mr. Dando.
But yes, Disney Plus, guys, it is incredible. Yeah, thank you so much to Disney for jumping on board and helping us the chance to give you this animation style as well, the 12-month subscription. They are absolute legends. So like I said, go to the Facebook page, like our page, and comment on the post. Tell us your favorite episode and why, and we'll randomly choose a winner who will receive the animation style and the 12-month subscription. So do that right now. All right, Mr. Davis, now that's out of the way, we shall discuss our favorite moments.
Hey, my favorite.
My favorite moment by far was, I know it sounds ridiculous, but Homer's reaction to the Ark, the ice cream. It's just me whenever Nicola makes risotto.
Oh, what's in her risotto, by the way?
She puts, so it's chicken. Chicken is the meat. She puts carrot, peas, broccoli, pumpkin, peas. Did I say peas? Beans, mushroom, a little bit of capsicum, and a fuckload of cheese.
That is an awfully healthy risotto. Well, minus the fuckload of cheese, but that's an awfully healthy risotto.
It's full of vegetables. Every time we do it, we're like, what's another vegetable we can try and fit in here?
I must admit, I mean, Homer's reaction to the Ark was good. I liked the I don't know if this character has a name. It's probably a different person every time, but teenage voice guy. I loved his introduction of the Ark, or his sort of doing his hype man act for it. I thought that was pretty funny. But yes, Homer's reaction to the Ark was, I think most of us can relate to something like that. I think we've all got a dish in our lives or something in our lives that sort of makes us just
it was that. When I got the 1 kilo palmy, that was my reaction.
Oh man, 1 kilo palmy. Was it the Sphinx or?
No, it was at Murphy's, the Irish pub.
Oh yeah,
in near town there. Yeah, and if you finish the whole thing, you got to have it for free. I did not finish it. But yeah, that scene though reminded me of the piggy scene from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, of course, Ziggy Piggy.
yeah, exactly. Now, you mentioned squeaky voice teen there. So when Marge throws I want to say jimmies, the little like
the jimmies,
whatever they are. Yeah, at the three workers, they are all original designs for squeaky voice teen.
Oh.
Yeah, so before they decided on the one that actually was the one that did the intro, they were the 3 other designs that they had for the character that they didn't go with, so they included them here.
Good. There's a fair bit of detail in this episode, apparently. I mean, reportedly, I know we'll get to it when we get to it, but let's get to it now. The with the couch gag, apparently the Korean animators who color in the Simpson family when they're on the couch are actually based on actual Korean animators of The Simpsons.
Yes, 100%. I thought that was a really cool detail. Yeah. I also like the fact that, I know we're skipping way ahead, just one more thing, and then we'll discuss it during the episode, but when Otto was doing the guitar solo, they made sure that he was actually animating the way to play the solo.
Yeah, I heard that one. I read that one as well. That's a lot. Yeah, a lot of fine detail in this episode. Nice work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wish you'd paid more attention to the script, but what can you do?
From this day forward, your names will be...
Okay, before we get into the new names, we need to read out our $20 patrons. We love you guys. Mr. Jordan, Moleman Ritchie, Nick Barbaro, Andrew Zer, Christopher Darby, Chris Malion, Will Manthorpe, Ben Smith, Noah Lucas Seawicks, Matt Thompson, Mark Boston Burgess, Alex Rodriguez, and Tom Pickering. You guys are all champions. Don't forget, if you are a $20 patron for 3 months or more, I'll be sending you an official Stonecutter's ring as well as an extra bonus goodie, which you'll find out once you receive it in the mail. Also, shout outs to our new $5 plus patrons, Jackson Stefanovsky and Neil Parks. Thank you so much, guys. Also, so new names for our Twitter feed, posted on Twitter asking for new names. You guys won't go into the draw, but if you follow us on Twitter at FourFingerPod, you can get your name read out in the show if I think your title is worth it. So what do we got here? We've got Marriage Becky Up, and another one we've got here. We didn't get many this week, and as well as Otto Becky Split Appear. Okay, so that comes from at Supernova Dragon. But don't forget, guys, follow us on Twitter at FourFingerPod. I'll be posting on there during the week asking for the new names. And even if you're not a patron, you can get your name read out on the show. So thank you, Supernova Dragon, for contributing those. Now, Mr. Davis, it's time for the leaderboard. We have in third position, Andrew Parker on 12 points. Mm-hmm. In second position, it is D.L. Gorman on 19 points. And still atop the hill It is number 1, Garode Harrahill on 20 points.
Dun, dun, dun. Now, I hadn't quite remembered the placements on the leaderboard when I was putting together this week's 3-2-1. So I may have set the cat amongst the pigeons with what comes ahead. So stay tuned, folks. Look, as always, a few honourable mentions before we get to the gold, silver, and bronze titles. But what have we got here? Let's see. Pat Wright gave us A Force to be Beckoned With, which I quite liked. Owen Holland also with Beckless Endogement. Our man Gear, a little spoiler here, he falls just outside the top 3 this time around. Despite having a couple of good ones like Wives Out and Otto Erotic Fixation. Which I quite liked also. And the name that Dando likes to say, Jimmy Ferrugia, had Homer Wrecker.
Oh, that's good.
I thought that wasn't too bad. Bad. Now, we get to the 3-2-1s, though, and in something that may be unprecedented, unless maybe it's not. We actually have a tie for 1 point. So both these people get a point each.
Okay.
I'm making the rules here. I think that works.
It works.
Okay, but Daniel Kotnik gets 1 point for To Usurp with Love.
Daniel Kotnik, you're on the board. You've now got the chance to win that wildcard prize.
Yeah. I not say I'm looking out specially for Daniel Kotnik here, but I thought it'd be interesting to throw a few new names into the mix, particularly after you made your announcement last week about, if you're on the leaderboard, you get a chance for a prize. So D. Kotnik's in there with To Usurp with Love, because there was such a frequent use of usurper in this episode.
Yeah, they loved that word, didn't they? They thought it was hilarious. And you hear it now and it's like, I guess it's funny, but it's probably one of those moments where the writers were just in one of those moods where anything sounded funny. They're like, oh, that's hilarious. And they just left it in. But it was a bit of overkill by the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can only go back to, Sideshow Bob stepping on the rakes so many times. Repetition is not always your friend. Repetition is not always your friend. Repetition is not always your friend. The other 1 point goes to Mark Boston Burgess.
Ooh, the old Boston burger. What's he got?
The old Boston bun with Achy Becky Heart.
Ooh, Achy. I like it. See, this is going to sound really bad, but Achy Becky Heart was my favourite song when I was like 6.
It was pretty damn catchy. And of course,
I fucking love that song.
And you were 6 years old.
Yes, and I had a giant mullet.
I can just picture you as a 6-year-old with a mullet.
who line danced.
Oh my God!
Do you know that I mentioned last week? Like, that's how I got my first gig in radio. I used to DJ on the country radio station when I was like 7.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. What happened was that my nan Marlene, who's passed recently, she loved listening. It was 89.1 Country FM, Geelong station, right? Mm-hmm. And there was these 2 guys who used to broadcast every Saturday night called Mel and Michael. And I used to love staying at Nan's place and listening to them. It was my first sort of introduction to listening to hosts on the radio as opposed to just music. I was like, oh, these guys are doing a show. Like, it's not just them playing songs; it's a bit of banter. And I used to go to Nan's place every Saturday night just so I can listen to Mel and Michael on 89.1. And then one day I wrote a letter and Nan posted it for me into their station, and they loved it so much that they invited me in. And then I went in there and I made such a good impression that they got me in there regularly, and I became like the mascot for the station.
Oh, I'm Brendan Dando, and welcome to 91.1 Country FM.
Yeah. My nan had tapes somewhere. I tried to find them when we were taking all the stuff out of her house. We couldn't find them, but there was tapes of me on the radio. I wish I still had them. But yeah, when I was it would have been about 7 or 8. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, Country FM. So not necessarily a big fan of country music. My family love it, but I'm not a big fan. But yeah, 89.1 Country FM was Dando's first introduction to radio.
Oh, that is just absolutely charming. It is.
I don't know how we got to that story, but anyway.
Achy Becky Heart is
Achy Becky Heart, that's right. Yeah, so basically, so I used to go to they used to do a monthly line dancing thing, and that's where I used to do line dancing because of that radio station.
We've got to find some video of you with your little mullet and your boots on doing the
there's got to
scoot.
be one. Yeah, I used to do this song called the Thunderbolt. That was my thing. I was the only kid that could do the Thunderbolt line dance. Anyway, enough of that.
That's your new nickname as far as I'm concerned. You are Brendan
Thunderbolt.
Dando. Two points to D.L. Gorman.
Ooh, shit. The cat is amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, you bet, man. Now, DL had one or two. Well, he had a few. He had a couple of new titles. Margin of Error was one, but he gets the 2 points primarily for Marge Madness.
Ooh, yeah, it's good.
It's not a bad one, is it? It's a good catchy title. I think it's probably better than It's a Mad Marge. But, yeah.
Marge Madness. It is. Yeah, it actually is. Especially if this had an Ed in March, but it didn't. But anyway. So it's a good title.
But on the very tip top of the mountain with 3 points is Alistair. Dan. Knock. Alistair Danek.
You have created some sort of trouble here because you know what that means?
What does that mean?
That means that Alistair is now tied for 3rd position with Andrew Parker.
Oh, it's going to be so interesting next week.
They can't win, but we do have prizes for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, as well as the wild card. So,
what was Alistair's title? I hear you not ask. It was Insane in the Mom Brain.
That's the one that I really liked. I thought that might win it. It was good.
It's a pretty good one, isn't it? So I think Alistair's earned his 3 points and his spot in equal 3rd position.
Yes, 100%. I remember reading that one going, if this doesn't win, it's bullshit.
If it doesn't win, Mitch is coming back.
Oh, wow. So the leaderboard's all out of whack now. So the current standings, tied for 3rd position, Andrew Parker and Alistair Danek on 12 points. In 2nd position, for the first time for the whole thing, I think, is Garode Harryhill on 20 points. And number 1 is D.L. Gorman on 21. Holy Christmas.
Oh, I feel like Gear's going to track me down and give me a bollocking. Right, what's this one?
Garode and DL battling out for 1st position next week. Oof.
Oh, truly a clash of the titans.
Let's see. Turns out neither of them get a point next week. But we have so many patrons in that group, guys. Keep contributing because if you get your name on that leaderboard, like I said, and you're not in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, you will go into the draw for a wildcard prize as well. I just randomly decided that. I think it was last week or the week before. So keep sending your entries in. And also keep sending your entries in on Twitter if you're not a patron, @4fingerpod. Make sure you follow us. Mr. Davis is going to be updating that every 3 hours, he tells me, but I beg to differ. But yes, we're going to be posting regularly on the Twitter as well, so @4fingerpod, as well as follow us on Instagram @4fingerdiscount. But now it's time for some trivia.
Next question. You there, eating the paste.
Alrighty, Mr. Davis, kick it off for us.
Okay. I only have 4 questions this time around.
That's fine. I only had 4 last week.
That's true, yeah. Okay. Where does Becky work?
Oh, that's one of my questions. There we go. That writes one of mine out. So she works at the Crazy Kraut.
She does work at the Crazy Kraut. Okay, yes. Well, if this isn't one of your questions, then maybe I can sort of make up for that. Oh, actually, no. That's fine.
Now we both have 4. It's all right.
Oh, okay, then cool.
Worked out well. Okay. I've got to ask the next one. I'll ask the next one. It's all good.
Oh, okay, fine.
What class was removed in order to purchase cameras?
Geography.
Geography, yes. That globe will never spin again.
How much did a bottle of water cost at Woodstock 99?
That is $8.
It is indeed.
And that reference made so much more sense to me because I recently, when we're doing our review on Kill the Alligator and Run, and they talked about Kid Rock, I looked up Kid Rock, that Bubba da Bubba da Bubba da song. I wanted to hear him sing it live, and had a live performance from Woodstock 99. And then I did some research on Woodstock 99, and it was a shitstorm. It was just like a disaster. Absolute
dumpster fire, apparently. I mean, I remember reading about it back in 99 and thinking, before it happened, I was like, this is an interesting way to sort of update the Summer of Love and all that kind of stuff. And here we are, entering into a new millennium. Wow, this could be a new phase for art and culture and entertainment. And instead, nope, it was just a bunch of roided up bros getting pissed and breaking
around
stuff.
in their own shit.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I don't know if Limp Bizkit was around at that stage, but their song
I'm pretty sure Limp Bizkit performed there. I'm pretty sure they did.
Their song was Break Stuff, right? Because I think that was basically the anthem of Woodstock 99. Break Stuff.
Yeah, it was just right central for sure.
Indeed. But yeah, $8 for water. Not much has changed.
What does Otto call sex?
Oh.
What does he refer to their lovemaking as?
I was going to say a ride on the matrimony pony.
No, so that's what he says when he's talking to Bart. He calls it the headbanger's ball.
Oh, that's right. Not inaccurate. No.
Next question.
What have we got here? How many tips for brides are in Obsessive Bride magazine?
Ooh. Was it 900?
It was indeed, and they were all don'ts.
Yes, all don'ts. I thought the animation was really weird when Marge says don'ts in that scene. It's always just because I feel like they animated her to say something else and they must have changed the line at the last minute because she kind of looks like she's saying the word don'ts, but her eyes are closed when she says it. It's just, go back and watch it, guys. When she says all don'ts, it just looks really strange. Anyway, maybe I'm seeing something that's not there.
Don't make me watch this episode again, Dando, please.
Oh, come on, man. It's good. Who could Otto have hired for $300 to be the minister at their wedding?
Oh, Rick Dees.
Rick Dees, yes.
When Mo is leaving the short-lived wedding with with some presents, how many is he taking with him? How many presents does Mo have?
Ring pillow and 7 presents that he brought.
That is right. And then a mouthful of prawns or shrimp or whatever.
Yeah, mouthful of shrimp, yeah.
Ugh.
Head to tail. Where's my sauce? Final question is, where did Brockman broadcast from when he was doing the story about Marge?
Oh, it was Juggernauts.
Juggernauts, correct. It's T-shirt month.
As much as I'm a fan of, Hooters-esque restaurants.
Wet T-shirts?
I've never actually been to one, but, I applaud the fact that they exist and provide employment for young ladies. It felt like another one of those just, what's the point of this gag?
Yeah, I guess it was kind of...
Maybe I'm just in a really sort of... Am I just grumpy today? Am I prudish? I mean...
I think old man Davis needs to sleep by the sounds of it. Do you want to go have a nap? We'll finish this tomorrow?
Yeah, let's just give me a cup of warm milk and Betty Buys, I think.
Did you take your pills this afternoon?
No, unfortunately.
It turns out it was just a clear blue sky outside because Guy went outside to get all his frustration out the clouds. There was just no clouds in the sky, so he's taking it out in this episode. Oh, well, I enjoyed this episode nonetheless.
Okay, look, I feel terrible. I mean, I don't want to be sort of, sledging it all the way through, and I'll do my best not to.
You just complained about wet T-shirts.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, what is... Something's very, very wrong here.
Oh, man. Anyway, you are Guy Davis, right? I did call the right number. The original air date was May 14th in the year 2000. The chalkboard gag is I cannot hire a substitute student. And the couch gag was the one that Mr. Davis mentioned before where the family are all just white, they're all empty, and the Korean animators all race in and colour them in. Yeah. And they were based on actual Korean animators, which I thought was very, very cool, like you said. The episode kicks off with all the kids at school, and they've all got their cameras. Yeah. I did appreciate the little Blair Witch mention we got here again.
That's the second Blair Witch shout-out in 2 episodes.
Yeah, it must have been very popular at the time, obviously. This would have been made during 1999, which is when the movie came out. So,
and it was the subject on all lips at that stage. Yes, Blair Witch was very big in 1999.
I believe, I can imagine, I should say that because I was still a child at that point, but I can imagine, every Year 12 media studies student would have been making Blair Witch movies that year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think it was made for something like $60,000. Or something, and made
it was very little.
An incredible amount of money.
It was like the 90s. It was the 90s. Like our Paranormal Activity was like the modern day version of Blair Witch, made for fuck all money, but made a lot.
Yeah, and made a fuck ton of money. Absolutely, yeah. There was apparently someone pointed this out to me on Facebook the other day. There was an interview with like Bruce Willis back in '94 or something when Pulp Fiction came out, and he said, "Look, 5 years from now, someone's going to make a home movie for like $60,000 or whatever, and it'll make $100 million. And then 5 years later, The Blair Witch Project gets made for $60,000 and makes, I don't think it made $100 million, but it certainly made a lot of money.
So I'm looking up here. The budget, it says here on the wiki page, was $200,000 to $500,000. But the box office was $248 million.
Oh, good Lord.
So that's literally made for less than $500,000 and made 248 of them. Holy Christmas. How much do you reckon that cast got paid?
Oh, probably magic beans.
Yeah. They just left them out in the forest. Oh, man. I still haven't gone back and watched it. We did mention it, but yeah. I'm gonna have to
We
go back and watch it.
yeah. I don't think either of us got around to it, but yeah, maybe tonight after, who knows. One thing I did notice, well, it's hard not to notice, but a little kid drops his camera and says, "Doe."
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does say Doe. You're right, of course. Yeah.
No, and not one of our sort of familiar faces either. I mean, it's not,
little blonde kid with glasses, right?
Yeah, I don't know who that kid was.
By the way, I've got here in my notes, how great would it have been to have been in primary school and just given a camera to go make a fucking video? It would have been the best.
That would have been so cool.
Oh, man, it would have been dope. Like, just your own video camera to go just film shit. Because I don't know, when I was, I think, about year 8, year 9, and it's when we first started doing proper media studies classes, and, you know, the task was to make a little 5-minute video, scary movie or something. And there's just that thrill and that sensation of having a camera in your hand. And like we went down to the river with a couple of my mates, and you don't even know what you're going to film, but you're like the excitement of the unknown was just so cool. It's like you're making a movie, you know?
But inventing something in real time, it's marvelous. Yeah.
All the kids now have their cameras. Nelson is filming Milhouse punching himself. Then Bart is annoying Lisa, and she reveals that Bart sleeps with Raggedy Ann. Then we got Otto here. So
did he sleep with Raggedy Ann or Raggedy Andy?
Andy, is it Raggedy Andy? Okay.
Yeah, because there were the ginger twins, basically.
Okay. Was there a male equivalent? Was there?
There was Raggedy Andy. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't aware. So Bart's basically the only. That's actually an element to this story that I feel that we didn't get enough of. So they tease it at the start that the kids are going to be, filming their own videos. I feel like that could almost be an episode in itself. All the kids of Springfield making their own home movies, don't you?
Yeah. Well, like that, like the film festival episode or something.
100%. Yeah, but it's the kids making movies. I think it would have been cool. So Bart goes up to Otto. He's talking to him. I'm not sure what Bart was actually filming, but that's the beauty of it. Because when you're a kid, as I said, you didn't really have a game plan. You just had the camera on, and you're just hoping to capture something.
Oh yeah.
So he's just interviewing Otto, and he asks him the question about the red traffic. No time for brain teasers. It's revealed here that Otto has his girlfriend, and he's going to ask her to marry him. Then we get the flashback to Woodstock, and Otto's on fire. And I read that was meant to be a reference to the fact that a lot of people caught fire. And there were lots of fires at Woodstock in 99. Then he goes to the drive-thru to propose to Becky.
Okay, this is it.
Otto?
Every rose has its thorn, just like every cowboy sings a sad song.
Becky, you're my rose. Will you let me be your thorn?
Oh, Otto, of course my answer is...
Ooh, wait. This solo is kick-ass.
Honey, could you turn it down?
Okay, but this better be worth it.
Yes, I will marry you.
Cool.
And I know you said this episode isn't great, but to me, I just feel this is a really sweet moment when he pulls a ring out. That, Poison song is playing in the background, every rose has its thorn, and the kids are just watching. The kids, the way they're animated, look, they're genuinely excited. They're like, oh my God, Otto's going to get married. This is so cool,
I did like all the lights on the bus going on, the stop signs flapping in and out. That was
yeah.
It was actually pretty cute.
I thought it was a really, really nice moment. And by the way, Otto batting way above his average.
Oh, certainly, yes. I mean, yes, Becky.
She's like the perfect chick. obviously, they ruined it at the end with her saying she was going to kill Marge. But if you ignore that final bullshit line at the end, she's like the ultimate person.
Hey, to quote those modern day poets, Poison, every rose has its thorn, man.
I also did like that. He snuck that in there. You're my rose, will you let me be your thorn? I thought it was a good line.
I was just glad that Poison got a shout out on this, mainly because the lovely Louise and I have been watching old episodes of Rock of Love. Do you know this show?
Oh my God, you've been watching reruns of that?
Oh yeah, well I think it's on the Foxtel somewhere.
Oh, I know it's there. My sister used to watch that and the Bam Margera one.
Oh, I haven't watched the Bam one. Although I did watch some Club CKY the other night. That's very early 2000s, that show.
Well, CKY was basically pre-Jackass, right?
I think it was post-Jackass.
Oh, really? I thought CKY was what evolved
Oh, maybe
into
it
Jackass.
was. Oh, maybe it was. Oh, yeah, you're probably right. But enough about that. But yeah, no, I've been watching a bit of Rock of Love. And, oh, yeah, we've watched most of season 1. And, oh, that's a sketchy program.
Well, they tried to get Michaels to sing for the cover band.
Yeah, that's right. Did he want too much money, or just didn't want to be part of it? Didn't want to?
I'm not sure why they didn't get him. But yeah, I just know he didn't. It would have been good to have him performing as a cover band for Poison. Though it would have been hilarious.
That would have been actually pretty good.
Maybe that's why he didn't do it, because he wasn't playing himself. Who knows? Unless they could have also been possibly taking the piss out of Axl Rose and having him front a cover band, because that's essentially what Guns N' Roses was by that point, just Axl Rose and friends.
Oh, yeah.
So Becky's accepted his proposal, and Marge is reading the invitation. I didn't get why they had Homer playing the knife game here. It serves absolutely no purpose.
No, but I mean, I'm a big fan of that game, and I think it always adds something when it's in a movie or a TV show or something. It's a good way to sort of establish macho bona fides, or just, don't give a fuck kind of attitude. I mean, like in Aliens, I reckon it's always great in Aliens when they have it. And then, what's his name? Bishop, the android, puts his hand over Bill Paxton's and, does it at like triple the speed, and Bill Paxton's going, "Well, no way, man!" I know. It's one of my favorite scenes. I think I probably actually
so good at that.
I probably actually played it a bit, that knife game, and I've probably messed up, one or two of my fingers doing so, because I don't think I was all that good at it.
You played it properly, as in stabbed really fast.
Well, not super fast, but I mean, I tried to do it as best I could.
Why?
I don't know. Shits
you
and
need
giggles.
your fingers to type articles.
I'm not saying I did this recently. I'm saying I did this like back in the 80s when I was a kid.
Okay. But I just thought here, I get what you're saying, but
yes,
at least
no,
it served some
why
sort of purpose
Homer's
in
doing
Alien.
it, I have no idea. No, you're
okay, at least it served a purpose in Aliens. Here, there's no payoff. It's just Homer stabs himself, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what happens here, Marge realizes that the wedding is going to be at their house because Bart is off at their house. And I did like the little back reference to Apu's wedding, all the stuff still being left out in the backyard. We then cut to the wedding. Everyone's parking at the front. Marge is preparing. We get the little mention about... Now, is this true that rice kills birds? Is that actually a thing?
I don't know if that is actually the reason, but I do know that, people have stopped throwing rice at weddings. They've also stopped throwing confetti at weddings, apparently.
Okay, is that just because it's pollution in the world?
Because it's messy? Yeah,
Yes, yeah, definitely. Same with balloons. You should never let balloons go.
Really? Why not?
No, well, I learnt this at the Healesville Sanctuary. So many people let balloons go at a funeral or whatnot, and what happens is the balloons... So basically what happens is they pop eventually, they fall to the ground, they get into the rivers, and so many platypuses die as a result of the little rings. They get their feet caught in the balloons and they die. Yeah, so you should never ever let a balloon go, because that balloon will end up in a river somewhere and kill an animal. And platypuses are one of the main species that get that suffer as a result of balloons being released into the air.
Oh, that was a very good public service announcement, Dano. Yes, I will never let go of another balloon as long as I live.
No, every time you let a balloon go, you're killing a baby platypus. So don't do
so
it.
If you see some happy child on the street with a balloon, like a helium balloon
Pop
that's
it.
floating, pop it.
Pop it immediately, or
Yeah,
steal
exactly.
it and then steal it and give it to your own child, and then pop it.
Indeed, that kid's going to cry, but you know what? They'll thank you in the long run.
Yeah, you're crying, but I'd rather your tears than a dead baby platypus.
Absolutely.
Otto's parents arrived to the wedding very briefly. Now, I'm not sure whether he was meant to be the same character, but he was designed the exact same way as the Navy officer, the Navy sergeant, or whatever, from the episode where Homer joins the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one that gets fired out of the torpedo, as a torpedo, and he hits the other submarine. But he was this character. I'm not sure whether he actually sounded the same or whether he was meant to be the same person, but he looked the same.
I think they've got a bit of a stock design for authority figures in The Simpsons.
Yeah. So Patty and Summer are then talking to Lisa about how men are all pigs, and the bitterness is strong with this one. I always appreciate when they get a Star Wars reference in there.
True.
Also, this part here where Bart's filming Skinner peeing. Another scene that didn't really go anywhere. It was just whatever.
That whole, you don't seem to be trying very hard. It's like, is that a joke?
That's it?
Yeah.
That's meant to be the thing? Okay, fair enough.
That's the bit.
That's
okay, fine.
Homer, this was great though. Homer, I love the score and everything when he pulls out his secret straw.
Oh, yeah, the sort of the Bond theme. Yeah, it's a pretty neat sort of cake slurping device that he's got.
It's good.
And the fact that he's got a little monogram box for it. I thought that was marvellous.
Yeah. And then he's all proud that he sucked it all out. Just as he walks off, the cake falls apart. Marge is with Becky, and she's just trying to sort of just calm her down, as if to say, relax her, basically. It's going to be fine. It's going to be good. Here's some tips from this magazine. And this is where Becky reveals to Marge that she doesn't, in fact, like heavy metal music, which is going to be a big issue if you're going to be marrying Otto, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's kind of Otto's... it's the core of his personality. It's pretty much it.
Yeah. It'd be like if someone's, if the lovely Louise secretly didn't like 90 Day Fiancé, what would you do if you found out, like, just say next week, she goes, gonna be honest, I'm not actually a big fan of the show, I just watch it because you like it.
But the thing of it is, she turned me on to it.
Would that change the fabrication of your episode, of your relationship?
It would certainly send some ripples through it, absolutely. I mean... Even though
that would be some sort of cat amongst a cage of pigeons.
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, I don't even want to speculate about that, Dan. Oh, it gives me a chill up my spine to even think about it. Mainly, if that beautiful sort of binding thing that we have of paying out on the clueless couples on 90 Day was just turned out to be a lie. Oh no,
she was faking it the whole time.
Oh, I'm actually pulling that Ralph Wiggum heartbreak face at the moment.
Yeah, don't you reckon that sounds like a Seinfeld script? She was faking it, but but when they're referring to a girlfriend pretending to like another show or another movie.
Yeah.
She was faking it. So getting back to Becky, revealing that she doesn't like heavy metal music. Marge just says, you just got to nag, just persist with the nagging, and it eventually works. We're now at the ceremony. Lovejoy's asking for his payment. And then we get the cyanide. You
got poison to play at our wedding?
We're cyanide, a loving tribute to poison.
We need a ride home!
You expect me to walk down the aisle to a monster ballad?
Let me talk to Otto.
Well, that's okay. I guess this is sort of our song.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Otto's just going to have to decide what's more important, his heavy metal or you.
I do like that song.
Nothing
but a good time.
How can I resist? Oh, yeah.
It's understandable, though, why Becky would not want to walk down the aisle to that song, though. Marge says that Otto has to choose between his heavy metal music or Becky. Cuts to Otto and Cyanide driving off in the... who was driving, by the way? Because wasn't Otto playing and jamming it on the bus?
Yeah. No, I missed that part. You probably could have asked that in the questions and won, because I did not know.
Yeah, but here I was just like, man, this is like, what a fucking douchebag. Like, Becky's like the ultimate girl, man. You are batting well above your average, and you've gone and done that. Oh, well.
This crush you have on Becky is quite interesting.
I think if you had to have a crush on an animated character, who would it be? Jessica Rabbit?
She's good, but she's she's above my pay grade. I'm probably Velma.
Yeah, okay.
Velma from Scooby-Doo, although apparently she's gay.
Since when?
Apparently, I don't know. I think I read some article maybe in the movies. I think James Gunn, who wrote the Scooby-Doo movies, wrote her as gay.
Okay, fair enough.
And then someone else in some Scooby-Doo thing said, yeah, pretty sure Velma likes the ladies. Anyway, Okay.
There you go.
That's something we have in common. Betty Rubble, perhaps.
Yeah, she's very wholesome, isn't she?
She is wholesome, but I don't know. I actually don't want to speculate about what Barney and Betty get up to after lights out.
How great was this next line from Homer? In about 15 minutes, I take off that dress. You're going to look crazy. We come back from commercial. This is where Mo is stealing the presents. He's not stealing because he brought those presents anyway, didn't he?
Of course he did. I mean, why would you? I trust Mo implicitly.
Exactly. Then we get Bart suggesting to Becky that she should stay with them. So this is once you've seen the whole episode, it sort of makes sense here. It's plain to see where Marge is doesn't want Becky there in the first place. But because, as Homer says, and haven't we had a talk about you ruining people's weddings? So Becky is now going to move in with the Simpsons. This is where we get the scene that we mentioned earlier that's just really in poor taste. Bart trying to kill Homer for the sake of his school video. It's just silly. It is good, though, Homer's rendition of Changes. I did like it.
Don't want to be an oily man.
Don't want to be an oily man. Marge and Becky are then cooking.
Now, Lisa's going through this phase where she doesn't eat any meat. So I usually sneak a little meat juice into her vegetables.
Wow, you're a real-life Martha Stewart. I mean, without the evil. May I? Yummers.
Nobody's ever called my gravy yummers before.
You know, it'd be really nuts. A little rosemary.
Ooh, I've always wanted to use rosemary in something.
I don't know what it is, but I really did like the delivery of yummers.
Yummers. Yeah. I liked Marge's enthusiasm that she'd always wanted to use rosemary in something. And
that's what I've got that here as well. I was like, I love the enthusiasm of their cooking here.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, rosemary's a tremendous herb to add to, potatoes, lamb, all manner of things. Try rosemary today, kids. That just seemed like, they're a nice team, these two. I mean, they both just want the best for the people they're going to serve their food up to. It all seemed very nice. And then, of course, everything goes haywire after that.
It was just, good to hear. It was just nice to see Marge have some sort of friend because we don't get enough of it anymore at all.
We don't really.
Marge never has friends, and it's openly discussed and poked fun at that Marge has no life. And it's like, it's all right for an occasional gag, but it's actually true now. You never see her with friends anymore, and it's really sad.
It is kind of, yeah. The more you think about it, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, Homer's got, Lenny and Carl and Mo, of course, but I mean, you can't off the top of your head sort of think of Marge's friends if she has any.
No, she has none at all. And the family don't even respect her anymore. I mean, this episode sort of emphasizes that Lisa's playing the sax and painting with Becky, and Marge is doing the washing. And as you should be well aware that if you have somebody like, for example here, Nicola, she does the majority of the washing, and it's a thankless job. But I always make sure to thank her for doing it because it's a pain in the ass doing your washing. And just little things like that, like Nicola keeps this house in check, and Marge keeps the Simpsons house in check. And I don't think they show enough support from the family of what she does around the house. It's more of the butt of jokes as opposed to actually being respected.
Indeed, lift your game, Simpsons clan.
Exactly right. Yes, let's go back in time and tell these 2,000 writers to fucking pull their finger out. The family all loving the food, something a bit different. Because you can imagine over the years, Marge has just figured out something that the family likes because they're very, very fussy eaters, and she probably just does the same thing over and over again. So she's almost been too scared to try something different because they're one of those families where, you try something different and don't like it, and it'll be all hell to pay. But they really like the food. But Marge is a little bit jealous because she realizes that all the things that they like are new changes that Becky has brought in.
Yeah. Well, it's reminded me, there's an episode of a show that I really like called Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, great show.
Yeah. Where the mother of the family, now I'm guilty of all this because I've forgotten her name, but she reads her daughter's diary, and the daughter is basically going through that whole teenage thing about, my mum's such a boring suburbanite, same thing every Wednesday night, blah, 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 blah. And the mother decides to sort of, shake it up a bit. She finds a new recipe for something, vaguely exotic, something for, exotic for middle America in the 80s or whatever. And everyone sort of, not makes fun of her, but they make fun of, it's Taco Tuesday. Why have we got, quail or something like that? And they're not specifically having a go at her, but they're not paying due respect to the effort that she's made. And
do you mean Jean?
Jean, that sounds about right. Yeah, and I mean, I remember watching the episode and thinking, this is a little bit heartbreaking, really. I mean, admittedly, everyone's sort of reconciled by the end of the episode. It's very nice because I think the husband he makes a very nice, not speech to his wife, but he sort of says, I like certain things because I like certain things, and I love you because I love you. And it's like, oh, that's a very sweet thing to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's a bit of a sidetrack. But yes, that episode, I think that was around 2001, so roughly the same time as this, showed how to show proper respect to, yes, wives and mothers and homemakers and all that kind of business. The Simpsons, however, did not in this episode.
But maybe because we're going back reflecting 20 years after this aired, maybe it stands out more that the housewife isn't getting respect, where maybe, in 2000, it was just still an easy go-to,
possibly
plot device or joke,
Maybe. I'm not 100% on that, but it's a possibility.
I'm just trying to give them an out, that's all.
Okay, yeah. Dano's cutting you some slack. Pay attention, Simpsons guys.
I've got here, Homer basically climaxing over potato skins, ?
It did sound very,
oh my God.
But I do, I mean, I don't, when I'm making mash, I don't peel the spuds.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. My mum always peeled them, so I don't think I've ever eaten mashed potato with the skins. Can't say I don't like it because I don't think I've ever tried it.
Give it a try next time. You too.
I do like wedges with skins on.
That's the thing. You too may make the Homer sound of.
Nicola's like, what are you doing in there?
Save it for later. Yeah.
Yes. Becky is kicking butt, or it looks like that from outside the window, but really they're just filming some Jackie Chan movies for the project, but Marge is still not happy. This is basically where things start spiraling out of control, when Marge starts getting real jealous. She's doing the painting with Lisa, so she's playing to her music, and she's painting to her music, and Lisa's playing to her painting. Okay. And we get Lisa here, and it is kind of, it's mean, but I don't think she was meaning it in this way. She goes, isn't it nice to have a hip female influence in the house?
Yeah.
It's like, what a spit in the face to your mum.
I know, but it's one of those sort of carelessly thoughtless
You never think
things.
your parents are hip.
No, you never do.
So throughout the whole episode, they want you to believe that Becky's actually really nice, which they do unravel at the end. But she suggests about the socks, and then this is Marge here. Nice little comeback. It's things do get worn out. Socks, welcomes. I always appreciate when Marge gets a little bit of a jab at people when she gets to have the punchline.
True, but
yeah.
Also, I don't like the idea of the tying the socks together like that. I roll my socks.
You roll them?
Well, you roll them into you roll one into the other.
Yeah, you make like a little ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen socks tied ever.
I've never seen that. Yeah. So nice try, Becky, but wrong.
Marge then goes to see her sisters to tell them about the situation, I should say. And they say to her, don't worry about it, you're going to be dead in a few days anyway because Becky's going to kill you. It's like, and they mention the movie, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which this episode's basically based on.
I did like the fact that they called seducing Homer an act of violence, not love.
Yes. Becky enters the bedroom in the middle of the night, which, in all honesty, you probably shouldn't be doing. I mean,
no, you shouldn't.
I didn't want to wake you. Then why were you in the fucking bedroom in the middle of the night? But she's got the hairdryer and the brush that look like weapons.
In all honesty, that joke was just basically a stale rehash of, hey, Bart, check out my new hockey mask and chainsaw.
Do you want some brandy before you go to bed? so good. Oh, man. Marge then goes to the shop, and it is great here when, after Becky's mentioned that, she's going to cook couscous, you can learn a lot from your kids if you just listen to them. So Marge is starting to feel like her family's been taken away. Her daughter loves Becky more than her. But Marge here, shut up, Becky. Well, that would have been sweet.
Yeah, I love that because, I mean, everyone has had that moment of, not knowing coming up with the perfect comeback 5 minutes too late.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've mentioned it, but there's an actual saying for that called the wit of the staircase.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, apparently our French friends came up with that. I can't remember the actual French term for it, but it translates as the wit of the staircase. Because, you'll be leaving some soiree, going down the stairs like, should have said that.
Ah, yeah, makes sense.
But
okay.
Anyway, yeah, but also like this whole bit, well, shut up, Becky. Yeah, but the fact that her idea of a real singer is, shut up, Becky.
Yeah, that's a comeback.
And it's also, yeah, I think I probably like Julie Kavanagh's voice acting maybe the most out of all the Simpsons cast. I mean, I know you've got a lot of versatile people in there, but I really like what Julie Kavanagh does. I just like her voice anyway in the various acting roles she's done outside of the Simpsons. But yeah, I really like what she does with Marge.
With that moment there, like the fact that "Shut Up, Becky" is such an important comeback for her. It's like she never gets to lash out.
No.
So just being able to yell anything, it's just like, oh, that feels good. She needs one of those rooms where you're paid to just go smash shit. That's what Marge needs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, we've got the famous steep hill that only seems to appear in Springfield when someone's brakes are cut or something needs to be, or a car needs to be out of control in some way, because that's a fucking steep hill.
It is. Now, I mean, I don't know exactly.
It's like San Francisco. Francisco's got hills like that. Yeah.
It feels very much like that. I don't know exactly what they're ripping off here. I mean, one thing it did remind me of is another sort of movie in this whole genre of, are they evil or are they not? A pretty terrible one from the mid-90s called Jade with David Caruso. Okay. But yeah, he gets his brakes cut and it's set in San Francisco and he's basically navigating his car up and down these very steep streets. I think he sort of he gets caught in Chinatown and runs down a dragon or something along those lines. But it's very much of that way of like, steep hills and all that kind of. I did like that the car actually had a brakes cut kind of.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was funny, but also, yeah, a bit of a logical misstep because, as we discover later,
they weren't cut.
Sorry for the spoiler, folks, but they weren't cut. Homer just accidentally drained the brake fluid. So
it did kind of ruin their payoff. You're right, but
yeah.
I did have here that I didn't even put two and two together when I was watching it. I didn't think, maybe Homer fucked it up. I didn't think of that. So I always found it to be a nice little reveal at the end that they, you got me. I didn't think of that, even though it's pretty obvious when you think about it.
Yeah.
But I also did really enjoy the tough glass, and the old man. I still say our speed bumps are bigger, stronger too. It reminds me of that guy from the general store when Homer catches General Sherman. Do you remember that episode? When Homer goes fishing and he catches the big catfish?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There was a man who caught him once. Goes by the name of Homer. It sounded like that guy.
That was a really good impression of him, man.
So Marge thinks that Becky's trying to kill her. She thinks that she's cut her brakes. That Becky's cut her brakes. She goes to Wiggum here. Oh, I'm going to be honest with you, Marge. The law is powerless to help you.
He's the worst cop. How is he still in office? How is he still
he's in
holding that
Springfield?
position?
But that's not even the best bad cop moment. It's still to come, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. It was almost my favorite moment. So let's get to it now. So we're at the Butterfat's ice cream parlor.
Phineas Q Butterfat, don't forget.
Yes, that's right. All the family are there, and except for Marge, Becky's there instead, and they're still trying to plant the seed that Becky's still thinking of Marge because she goes, "No, I wanted to wait till your mum was here, but what the hell? I found an apartment. I'm moving out. All the family are sad, so they're playing up that she's innocent." Then we get introduced to the Ark.
And God said, "Gather ye two of every flavor, anoint them with 62 sauces, whipped cream and nuts, and ye shall call it the Ark."
The acting from Dan there is just sensational. just and just straight into just passed out. And then Bart thinks he's just gorging. No, you might want to help him. So this is where Marge walks in, catches Becky giving mouth-to-mouth to Homer, thinks that she's trying to steal her husband. The police arrive, gun goes off, Lou, whoopsie. I fucking thought, I don't know why that tickled me so much, but the cut to the three cops, all with ice creams, and him just going, whoopsie.
We gotta save him.
Usurper! 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 Don't mess mess with me. I've got Jimmy's...
They can only see a horrible rainbow.
Shut up, Becky! There, I finally said it.
Drop the cone, sugar.
Oh, whoopsie.
Take her away, boys.
I thought you said the law was powerless.
Powerless to help you, not punish you. Earned my treat.
This isn't over, Becky. I know where you live. My house.
It was a good cut to commercial, I thought. You know, if you do like this episode, you're going to want to keep watching to find out what's going to happen now.
That's true. That's a good point. I thought, well, I know you liked Whoopsie. I thought the best cop bit that was just Clancy going, earned my treat.
That was very good as well. And the whole, no, it's powerless to help you, not arrest you. Marge is now on trial. So I believe we had one of the patrons message this. I noticed it anyway myself, that two of the three people were characters that we had before, two of the people on the panel. So we had Marge's psychiatrist from Marge's The Fear of Flying episode, as well as Dr. Foster from Hurricane Nettie when Flanders goes into the psycho home. But it's the young version of Dr. Foster, so I'm not sure whether he jumped into a time machine or whether they realised they were copying Dr. Foster. But so that was Dr. Foster. Do you remember that episode, Hurricane Nettie?
I do remember Hurricane Nettie, but it's been a while since I've seen it. Dr.
Foster is the guy that spanked him on the bum throughout the year.
Oh,
when he was a kid.
That's
right. So the Dr. Foster that's spanking him on the bum, Flanders, when he was a kid, that's the Dr. Foster we've got here. So maybe it's Dr. Foster's son. Who knows? But yeah, it was just nice to have characters that we've had in the past. I thought it was a nice touch. It was. I did feel sorry for Marge here, but it was so funny. So the Ringo Starr scenario, but then okay. And this guard, is he in this room right now?
He's kind of everywhere. I did like the shout out to the Ringo Starr fixation, though. I thought that was good, you know. Because
he reciprocated.
It was. You know, we all remember he held up the picture and just went, yeah.
Yeah, he certainly did. Marge then races out the window, because that's what you do in Springfield. You just want to escape from court, you just jump out the window and pump those crazy legs. We then get the news report from Juggernauts about Marge. And we need to catch her before she kills again. And then Homer's like, don't worry, she'll be back to finish off Becky. Then we'll all be back to normal. Marge enters. This was also a very close second for my favourite moment. I thought this was great. Marge entering the band parade to escape the workers, and it turns out it's for the mental asylum. It was pretty. I wrote down it's a pretty clever move by Marge. A shame it backfired, but she was even able to get out of that. But but what I like about it was the fact that, because I first watched it and went, oh, how convenient that they've got someone wearing the same clothes. But then it makes sense because that's where she came from. Yeah. Well, it's like The Fugitive. The bit in The Fugitive where Harrison Ford. It's St. Paddy's Day in Chicago, and they're chasing him wherever, and he finds some old green hat fishes it out of the bin, slaps it on, and starts walking to the St. Paddy's Day festival, and just merges in. Good on you, Harrison Ford, and good on you, Marge. This was a pretty suave move on your part. I feel like you must be a big fan of The Fugitive because you mention it a lot. Oh, The Fugitive? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, you can watch it any night of the week. I mean, I like it as well, but I mean, you just really, because you mention it a lot, The Fugitive. I mean, by all means, mention it as much as you'd like to. Because it's a great movie. Not realize that I mentioned The Fugitive all that much. Did you see the meme I put up on the Facebook page recently? I can't remember who made it, of the "I don't care" moment from The Simpsons when they took off the Fugitive. Oh yeah. Did you see the meme? I think so. Well, there's variations on it. I'm pretty sure. The meme says, it's got Milhouse saying, "Did someone say KFC?" But that is one of my favourite scenes ever of Milhouse, and yeah, the Fugitive. If you haven't watched The Fugitive, people, make sure you go out and watch it. Oh, Fugitive is top notch. Take it from Guy and from Dando. So she jumps back out of the mental asylum, and she steals comic book guy's prescription pants.
Now, Ralphie, what are you going to do if you see Mrs. Simpson?
Freeze, you crazy mommy.
Atta boy. But you got to aim a little higher. There you go. That's a kill shot.
We get Krusty here doing the Marge skit. So this was the takeoff of what Conan used to do.
Yes.
With the mouth. It got very old very quick. That gag kind of dates this episode because that would have been really funny and relevant when this episode aired, but now it's like, huh?
Now, yeah. If you didn't know about the Conan O'Brien bit, you'd be like, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah. We cut to the Marge Simpson dances. I love here, cut to Bart. Too soon.
The too soon bit was a good line delivery, yeah.
Very, very good. I appreciated the reference to Bloody Margie, like Candyman, Bloody Mary. Then Homer's reference to Species. Is it Species was the one mates with people and eats them? That's Species, right?
I think it's more just a praying mantis that does that, but
just a praying mantis. Okay.
I don't think Natasha Henstridge in Species actually ate you after she was done with you. She just really she just wanted to get knocked up.
Because that's right. Yes, of course, man. I'm telling you right now, Species was the movie franchise when I was a kid that I could go to the video store. And Mum thinks I'm just looking at horror movies, but I always knew there was a chance for some boob on the cover of a Species DVD.
Oh, absolutely there was.
So Mum would never know that I was just going to look at boob whenever I was looking in the horror section to find the Species covers. I can still remember the cover. It was just her in the front. It was all green and black. Yeah,
it's like, good. Can I get this one? It's like Alien.
Yeah. It's like E.T. for grown-ups. So Becky... She's now at home and she's starting to sort of take the role of Marge. She's like, if Marge was here, she'd be telling you to do your homework and you need to finish washing the dog. So she's sort of almost like the Sherry Bobbin. She's like, come on, people, start fucking pulling your weight around here. Then we get to Marge at the library. I thought Marge, I like the design of Marge wearing the baggy clothes and the hat. I thought she rocked it.
I think so as well. I'd like Marge with her hair down as opposed to up.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, whenever she's got her hair down, she looks far more relaxed. She looks less cartoony, I think.
Now, let's find out who this Becky really is. I really should read the whole headline before I react. Oh my, I've been so unfair to Becky. Maybe I am insane. I mean, I am talking to myself.
You are? Oh, I thought I'd made a friend.
Marge arrives back home, and it looks like that Becky is taking part in a ritual to kill Homer, but no, they're actually filming a video for Bart. What is Bart's final video going to be? He was interviewing Otto, and then he was filming karate Jackie Chan moves, and now there's a Satan's ritual.
It looked like a Cradle of Filth video or something along those lines.
Yeah, possibly. At least it's filming the behind-the-scenes video or the making-of video. And then we get here, so the big reveal. So it's revealed here that Homer was the one that drained the brake fluid. Becky didn't cut her brakes. But then Becky admits that she was actually going to steal the family. She just couldn't find a place to... she couldn't decide on a shovel to bury Marge. I didn't like that ending. I'm probably in the minority, but I just felt like the episode would have been better off not having Becky actually wanted to kill Marge in the end. Because I felt like... I guess if you're not going to bring back the character, it doesn't matter. But I thought... I really liked the character of Becky until that moment. It was just kind of like, okay. But I guess it kind of plays into what they were trying to take off in the sense that all those... was it From Hell? Is that what it was? I can understand why they did it. To me, I just would have preferred if they didn't do it.
Yeah, look, it's just again, as we've talked about, just an unsatisfying ending. Just a bit of it. Just runs out of gas, maybe, or runs out of petrol. Let's say for our Australian friends. Just a few meters before the finish line.
Yeah, it just sort of felt like the ending, they couldn't quite decide on what they wanted, so they just wrapped it up in the space of 30 seconds. Homer shoots Marge in the neck so he doesn't have to do some sweeping and mopping or whatever it is.
Well, yes, the S&M thing. I didn't mind. It did seem like a very Marge kind of joke, or just a very sort of parent joke when they're feeling a bit sort of a tiny bit racist, like, time for some S&M, scrubbing and mopping.
Scrubbing and mopping, that's right.
Yeah.
But overall, though, I know you didn't like it that much, but I've always got a soft spot for this episode, as I mentioned at the start, and there was enough laugh out loud moments for me that I gave this a thumbs up for sure. What about you, Mr. Davis?
Okay, look, my thumb is probably at a 45-degree angle, so it's wavering between up and... So, look... I know I came off a bit cruel at the start and was not enjoying it all that much. This little recap that you've done so well, Dando, yes, brought me a few laughs. So, okay, yes, I've warmed to it a little bit. I mean, I don't love it, but I like it.
What did we learn, Palmer?
So what'd you learn from the episode, Mr. Davis?
Oh, the most valuable lesson of all. Add rosemary to your potatoes. Potatoes.
Add it to anything.
Add it to anything. Maybe not ice cream, but primarily to potatoes. And certainly lamb if you are inclined.
I was going to say, I don't eat lamb, but I know I see a lot of rosemary and lamb. It seems to be a thing.
So it's a good herb. It's a very nice herb. But that's the most valuable takeaway from It's a Mad, 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 Mad Marge for mine.
I learnt that whenever cramming stuff into your mouth, head to tail, you've always fit more.
And don't skimp on the hot sauce.
It's the patron mailbag time.
Alrighty, so it is time for the mailbag, Mr. Davis. What
Open it up.
do we have? Let's have a look. Let's get in there. I haven't even looked at it this week. You posted it today. You asked the patrons for some questions. What have they sent in? Let's have a look. This is from Talia Enriquez, a regular contributor to the Patreon Mailbag. What is the best type of shovel that you should buy when planning to assimilate someone's family?
That's a very good question. If I knew... I've never used a shovel. I always dig with my hands like an animal. I feel, if I'm going to get back to nature, I'm going to get back to nature, man.
Just burying your pet cat, you're just shoveling away with your hands.
Indeed, yes. I mean... If I'm going to the pet cemetery, I'm not walking that far with a shovel.
Next question comes from Jonathan Rossi.
Sorry, Talia. Talia probably wanted actual sort of advice on hardware.
Life advice, yeah. Oh, well.
You've come to the wrong place.
You have to find someone else to give you advice on how to bury a body. Jonathan Rossi, what is the most monumental conversation that you've ever had, which you or the other member of the conversation interrupted for something ridiculous or inappropriate? I remember when we were trying to tell my parents that we were pregnant for the second time, my dad interrupted to talk about something to do with the football that happened the previous week. Like, Dad, be quiet. He's like, what? I'm like, Dad, shut up for a second. You're about to be a grandfather.
He's like, again?
Yeah. What about you? Anything off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no. I can't recall any sort of I don't think I've made that many groundbreaking sort of announcements in my life, but certainly none that have been interrupted by friends or family or anything like that. No, I'm sorry to say that all the important stuff that I've ever sort of announced has been treated with a due reverence and respect by everyone around me.
And here's a question for you from Noah Daniel. What cover band would you want at your wedding?
What type of band?
What cover band?
Oh, cover band. Oh, golly. Like of one particular, would they have to be of one particular band? Clearly,
I feel like you'd be a babber.
Look, I like to think of myself as a sensitive gentleman, so I would probably defer. Also, a slack gentleman, so I would probably defer that duty to my intended. I'd say, "What kind of music do you like, honey? Let's get this band that does that kind of sound." But for myself, I don't know. Maybe like a 70s yacht rock style band, like the Doobie Brothers or Chicago or something along those lines, or an outfit that had like a yacht rock kind of selection. Because I think that would sort of get people on the dance floor and a wide selection of people on the dance floor. You wouldn't even have to know how to dance, just sort of like move it a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. It's got to be some sort of like, or what about if you had a Tina Turner cover? Because every wedding has to have the Nutbush City Limits, right?
They do, don't they? Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a Tina Turner cover artist. Just to do the Nutbush on repeat.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
One more question from the Patreon mailbag, then we'll jump into the other mailbag. Damien Miller says, what is the weirdest thing you have seen used as a weapon, such as Marge with the ice cream cone? Mitch once got slapped in the face with a salmon, I believe, like a full salmon fish. I've been attacked with a loaf of bread once. I believe I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but when I used to work in the deli, I had just clocked off. I'd finished my shift and I'd forgotten to get my wallet. I left it in the drawer in the front room. So I'd gone back in to get it. And as I'm in there, this guy goes, "How about some service, mate?" And I just went, "Oh, sorry, mate, I've finished." And he just made this sound of just rage and confusion and just pulled his loaf of bread out of his basket and launched it over the counter, hit me square in the head, and just sort of fell to the floor. And we just sort of looked at each other as if to say, well, that just happened. And he just walked off.
Didn't want his bread back?
No, it's like he did it and then realised what he'd done.
And sort of snapped out of the trance.
But I wasn't even angry. I was just like,
oh, you'd be bemused.
Really?
Yeah, you'd just be.
Did I just get touched with a loaf of bread?
Yeah. That is honestly so surreal that you'd honestly feel like you'd just woken up from a dream or something. It's like, did that just happen? Did someone just throw a loaf of bread at me?
And it was like, it took so long to go and hit me as well. It was like, it was mid-flight, and I had the option, am I just going to stand here and let this hit me? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Was it
just bang?
It wasn't like a crusty sourdough loaf, like an artisan loaf.
No, it was just like a
Tip Top
Coles brand wholemeal toast slice bread.
Yeah.
It was just. Anyway, that was a bizarre moment, but that's me being attacked by something strange. How about yourself?
Look, this didn't actually happen to me, but it did happen to a friend of mine who got a bit loudmouthed one night on the street after we'd all had a few drinks.
You do have a lot of loudmouth friends, by the sounds of it.
Oh, one or two. These are, of course, my friends. This didn't happen to me. No. But I think this friend of mine took issue with the fact that this guy was wearing moccasins out and about on the town, and sort of gave the bloke some stick about, oh, nice moccasins, mate. Like slippers, like fluffy slippers, like Ugg boots.
Yeah.
And this guy, I think, actually he took off one of his moccasins and threw it like full tilt at my mate. And I think we were all like, this guy's clearly crazy. So we just sort of like, we'd better get out of here. If he's going to do this, we didn't pick up the moccasins or anything. We're just like, oh, I mean, it didn't really come near us or anything like that. He didn't throw it far enough.
If he's willing to do that, he's fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah. So, we figured it would be best to exit the scene post haste. So yes.
Yes.
So it didn't quite connect, but it's the thought that counts.
Jamil is here!
Ooh. Well, there's the patron mailbag. Now, I've just jumped into our mailbag from our regular listeners. We do like to hear from you guys as well. Mailbag at fourfigurediscount.com.au. Be sure to send us some questions and just get in contact with us. Love to hear from each and every single one of you. Mm-hmm. So this here comes from Lois. So Lois says, hi guys, just thought I'd send you an email to say hi and thank you for the show.
Hi Lois.
Hi Lois, yes. I really enjoyed listening and the show has kept me company through COVID lockdown and working from home. My mental health wasn't great during some parts of the lockdown, so listening to the show really helped lift my mood and provided a helpful distraction. It also kept me company when I went to get a drive-through COVID test from Barwin Health. Oh. I was nervous about the test and listened through some back episodes to take my mind off of it. Trios of Horror 6 when she was driving there, and Trios of Horror 5 while she waited. So that was back when Mitch was still doing the show. Mm-hmm. And then she got the actual test. Just thought that might be a random fun fact. She says, I joined the Patreon a few weeks back to show my support and give back after the show has provided me with so much entertainment, and one particular factor in deciding to do so was knowing that I would be supporting 2 fellow Geelong residents. I love the random Geelong references that are thrown into the podcast from time to time. I always love hearing from people who are from Geelong as well. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
She says, yes. Anyways, I was wondering how you were feeling about reviewing the future seasons coming up. Obviously, as it's been well discussed, we've passed the golden age of The Simpsons, but I recently rewatched the show on Disney+. I find a lot of our listeners are doing that. They're going back and they're rewatching the show on Disney+, which is cool. I'm glad that Disney+ is giving a lot of old school viewers the chance to go back and revisit the show for the first time. They might not have gone out or been able to afford the DVDs, and they don't watch enough television to be able to pick it up and find it on free to air because it's fucking impossible to find these days. So Disney Plus just gives you easy access. It's there whenever you want it. So it's just great. That's the one positive. Of Disney buying Fox. If anything, it's like, can you imagine telling 10-year-old Dando in fucking 1998, oh yeah, there's going to be a point where you can just turn the TV on and watch any episode of The Simpsons that you want at any time. Like, my little mind would have been blown.
Yeah.
And I think we sometimes take this for granted, because just go back 10 years ago, this whole concept of streaming is just like unprecedented. It's unheard of.
Oh, absolutely.
You wouldn't be able to even fathom it. Yeah. It's just sometimes we need to sit back and appreciate what we do have. You know what I mean?
Indeed. By the way, what was the name of that streaming service where you can watch every episode of The Simpsons up to season 30?
I believe it's called Disney Plus. Yeah, all 30 seasons of The Simpsons streaming now. Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus, you say?
That name again is Disney Plus.
I think we did that so inconspicuously that Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm holding up a Pepsi can like Wayne as we speak.
She says, but I recently rewatched the show on Disney Plus and was surprised by how many decent episodes there were in later seasons. I think I got up to about season 17 when I decided to stop watching and just go back to the start again. I hope you and your families are all well and stay safe during these COVID times. I'm looking forward to keeping up with the show in the future. Thanks, Lois. So yeah, I agree. I think there is so much to look forward to in the upcoming seasons. You are going to get your occasional shit show, but I think overall, going into season 11, I wouldn't say that I wasn't excited, but I was just kind of like, oh, so here we go. This is the sort of the beginning of the downward trend. But I think when you sort of average it out, I think season 11 has been a thumbs up.
I think so, yeah. And I mean, look, I think when we're diving as deep as we are, you're going to find good stuff. And yeah, I think we've been fair, and I don't think we've sort of gone in with the pitchforks and the torches and all that kind of stuff, saying, oh no, this is terrible. I think we've gone in with an even frame of mind, and what we haven't liked we pointed out, but I think we've been pleasantly surprised by how much good stuff there's been, and I think that will be the case as we continue to move forward.
100%, yeah. So as Lois said, she's up to season 17 and she's still enjoying the show. So yeah, plenty to look forward to here on Four Finger Discount. Don't forget, if you want to be a patron and support the show and get access to a bunch of exclusive podcasts, just go to patreon.com/fourfingerdiscount. Links in the description of this podcast. Where you'll get, you'll be a week ahead for this show. You'll be a few weeks ahead of Talking Seinfeld. You get Take a Look at Mandalorian, Tales of Futurama, plus many more things. You also get access into the monthly prize draw, as well as the Facebook group. Now, the Facebook community is an absolute... It's just a pure joy. It's one of the only reasons I use Facebook these days. The community there are absolute legends. You will absolutely love being a part of that community, and you can do that for just $2 per month. So yeah, patreon.com/fourfingerdiscount, or just continue listening to the show. We just appreciate the fact that you're willing to give us your time and tune in each and every week. You are all absolute legends. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @fourfingerpod if you want to contribute and get your name read out on the new name segment. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/fourfingerdiscount, and don't forget to enter our prize draw for the official Simpsons animation sale from Treehouse of Horror 9. Just go to our Facebook page and comment your favourite Simpsons episode and why, courtesy of our good friends at Disney. And you'll also get a subscription, 12-month subscription for Disney Plus if you win, because all 30 seasons of The Simpsons are now streaming. I hope you enjoyed our review of It's a Mad, 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 Mad Marge. Next week, we are reviewing the finale of Season 11. We finally did it, Mr. Davis. We got through an entire season. Do you know what episode it is?
You tell me.
It is Behind the Laughter, which is an episode that I fucking hated as a kid, but I'm really looking forward to it because it's one of those episodes that I think you really need to understand the entertainment business to appreciate it, and I cannot wait to go back and revisit it because I haven't for a long, long time. I've held out for that reason because I want to go in fresh. Behind the Laughter is next week. Make sure you tune into that, guys. But for now, I'm Dando. Mr. Davis, any final words for the listeners?
I can only see a horrible rainbow.